What it do, YouTube? It's your boy MachineZo MachZody, MachineZo, and we coming back with another react. Yes, sir, ski. Hope y'all doing great today. Today I'm gonna take y'all through it with the parallel truth. Subscribe to them. I am the chill life of Zoe, and we are gonna talk about a country that shouldn't exist. The geography of a country on Earth, the long thin and full extremes of it, from deserts to glaciers, the bizarre shape. We are going to learn something new today, and that is Chile. So if y'all are into weird shit and into just learning about shit you didn't need to know or probably didn't know in school, I am here today for that. Shout out to y'all. So let's get into this video.
If you look at the map of South America, one country stands out
South
immediately.
America with
Chile.
it.
It doesn't look like any of its neighbors.
Never been,
it's not a
I'm
wide
never
country
going.
or a square country or even remotely balanced.
This
It's
is
long, very
crazy.
long, and incredibly thin. At first, this might just seem interesting, like a geographical quirk, but behind that narrow ribbon of land lies a much deeper story. A story of war, geography, trade,
I ain't
and
know
even
nothing
survival.
about
Because
Chile.
Chile's strange shape isn't just unusual, it creates real problems. From
Shout out
natural
to all the
disasters
Chile
to national
folks.
security, Chile has to work harder than most countries just to stay connected. In this video, we'll explore how Chile got its unusual shape, how it became a country trapped between
Looks like
ocean
there's a whole
and
bunch of mountains.
and why that shape still creates real problems, and how is the country trying to fix them. Let's go back in time and unravel the story of the world's skinniest country. Before we
Shout out to them, subscribe to them, man, for sure.
dive in, make sure to subscribe this channel. If you love stories about how geography shapes the world, this is the place for you. Tap subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Chile didn't start out this long and thin. It became that way through a mix of ambition, geography, and conflict. Centuries ago, before Chile even existed as a country, this narrow strip of land was home to various indigenous...
I ain't gonna lie, if this shit ain't working out, you feel what I'm saying? Like, if we built this shit a long time ago and I'm living on the land right now as somebody in power, we gonna knock some of this shit down, knock some of these mountains down, bro, because there's too much goddamn land to just be not goddamn, you know what I'm saying? We gotta expand, nigga. We gotta hit these niggas over the head for their rent.
groups.
You know what I'm saying?
In the north, there
Get
were
the GDP
Atacameños
going.
and Aymaras. In the south, the fierce and independent Mapuche resisted outside
You
control
got
for
Aymara,
centuries.
you
Then
got
came the
Apuche.
Spanish in the 1500s, searching for gold and empire.
Alright,
But
we in the
colonizing Chile wasn't
1500s.
easy. Unlike Peru or Mexico, there was no wealthy empire to conquer. What the Spanish found instead was difficult terrain, mountains that split the land, deserts that never saw rain, and a fierce people who refused to surrender. The Spanish called it the end of the world, and for a while, that's exactly what it felt like.
Look at the location of it. This shit is damn near the end of the world, bro. If you stay at the bottom of South America, good luck, bro. You'll never, ever, ever make it to the top. Sorry to say, bro. I don't know how you do that. You gotta get you your own plane, and try to fly, but shit. This goddamn look like a fucking 3-week trip just to get to Mexico. In one plane, boy, you got a gas, ain't no gas stations.
After gaining independence from Spain in 1818, Chile was still a small
Okay,
country,
we in the
mostly
1800s with it.
concentrated in the central region around modern-day Santiago and Valparaiso. But that quickly changed. In the 1800s, Chile began expanding aggressively in both directions. The northward push became especially important during the War of the Pacific, which lasted from 1879 to 1884. In that war,
I
Chile
ain't gonna
fought
lie,
against
bro. I don't care about this. We gotta get to the most recent times.
100 kilometers wide. That's thinner than some small US states. Now imagine
Damn.
trying to build a country on that. Roads that have to wind between mountains.
Sheesh.
Railways that can't cut across
You gotta
flat land
drift
because there
like
isn't
Tokyo
any. And
Drift.
cities that can only grow in one direction, north or south. In the north, the challenges are just as extreme. Chile is home to the Atacama Desert, the driest desert in the world. Some parts haven't seen a single drop of rain in decades. It's so dry and lifeless that NASA has
Damn, rain in 10 years is crazy. No rain in 10 years. Boy, gonna get these boys some water, boy. Go pour some water on that motherfucker. You can't. That's a lot of land. Shit, they better get some water from the ocean.
Did Mars rovers there, yet people still live and work in the Atacama,
They
mining
said that bitch
valuable
look like
resources
Mars.
like copper and lithium. In the far south, the landscape flips. There you find cold rain, wind, glaciers, and icy fjords that split the land into pieces. Roads are difficult to build, or sometimes impossible. You can't just drive from one end of Chile to the other. In fact, in the southern region of Aysén and Magallanes, the only way to reach some towns is by ferry, plane, or by passing through Argentina. Yes,
Wow.
even today, some Chileans must leave their country, cross a foreign border, and re-enter just to visit another part of Chile. This isn't just inconvenient, it's a strategic vulnerability. If a natural disaster strikes, like an earthquake or a flood, rescue operations can be delayed for hours, even days. If a geopolitical conflict ever arises, Chile's disconnected geography becomes a serious risk.
Dang, if you born in Chile, bro, the odds is all against you, bro. If you born in the southern region, which I'm sure there ain't nobody living there, it ain't probably livable. But if people living there, boy, you gotta travel to another country just to travel back to Chile just to get to the other side. Shit, rescue teams, but if a disaster happened, rescue teams ain't coming for 3 days, bro. You better figure it out. That's insane to me.
Supplies might not reach where they're needed. People might be cut off entirely. So while Chile's geography makes it beautiful and unique, it also makes the country fragile, like a ribbon stretched too thin between two forces it can't control. But Chile hasn't given up. It's found creative ways to fight this isolation, which leads us to the next part of the story. Chile's biggest challenge has always been keeping the country
bridge
connected
is crazy.
from top to
That's a
bottom.
train
Over the
bridge, though.
decades, the
Ain't no
government has
car
tried
riding on
building
that.
roads, highways, and airports to solve this problem. But geography keeps fighting back. In some places, the terrain is so rugged that building a road takes years, only to be wiped out by floods or landslides the following season.
Damn.
The Carretera Austral, also known as Route 7 or Southern Highway, is one of the most ambitious projects ever built in Chile. It was started in the 1970s during the military dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet, not just for development, but for national control. The government feared that the south, cut off from the rest of Chile, could become vulnerable to outside influence or even invasion. But building it wasn't easy. The road had to cut through thick forests, steep mountains, and raging rivers. Even today, after nearly 40 years, some parts of the highway are incomplete or can only be crossed by boats. Maintaining this highway is expensive, and natural disasters like earthquakes and landslides constantly damage parts of the road.
Couldn't pay me
Speaking of
enough to build a
earthquakes,
highway
Chile
down
is one
there.
of the most earthquake-prone countries in the world. It is located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most seismically active regions on the planet. It experiences thousands of small earthquakes every year, and even several massive
Boy,
ones.
if you a natural born Chile resident, bro, you just fucked from the go, is what I'm learning. Cause goddamn Pacific Ring of Fire, you gotta travel out the country to get back to your country. It is so far from just even Mexico. It's so far from everything. Goddamn, what is that, Australia? Shit, good luck. Goddamn Africa, good luck. Anywhere you try to go, bro, it's gonna be a challenge. So if you just born in Chile or you from there, you is stuck there, bro. Unless you got money or something, boat your way ass all the way to goddamn Mexico.
2010, an 8.8 magnitude quake struck near the city of Concepcion, killing hundreds and destroying thousands of buildings. That quake was so powerful, it literally shifted the Earth's axis and shortened the length of the day by a tiny fraction. When disasters strike, Chile's long shape...
Imagine a fucking earthquake that big. Boy, you probably really think something going on. You probably think this is all a dream, bro. Everything's shaking so hard. I'll try to go outside. You can't even go outside, bro. You can't go nowhere, bro. That shit shaking so fucking hard.
Rescue efforts difficult.
Oh,
it can
my
take
God.
hours or even days for aid to reach affected areas, especially in the south. For example, a hospital in Santiago is no use to someone trapped in a mountain village 2,000 kilometers away. And this isn't just about disasters. Even in normal times, everyday life in Chile requires a massive effort just to stay connected. Flight times between the north and south can stretch over 5 hours. Cargo trucks often have to cross into Argentina and then come back, just to bypass impassable terrain. The further south you go, the harder life becomes, not because of people, but because of geography. And this geography also affects Chile's economy, because to bypass hours, cargo trucks often have to cross into Argentina and then
One,
back, just to bypass
two.
impassable terrain. The further
So they gotta go through Argentina twice to goddamn get back to where they need to go. That is insane.
You go, the harder life becomes, not because of people, but because of geography.
Crazy looking
and this
rocks.
Geography also affects Chile's economy. Because the country is so stretched out, its population is unevenly distributed. Most Chileans live in the central region, around Santiago. In fact, nearly 40% of all Chileans live in or near Santiago. That's like if almost half of all Canadians lived in Toronto, or most Germans lived only in Berlin. It creates a country that's highly centralized, where nearly everything happens in one place. This concentration creates imbalance. Santiago and its surrounding areas have the best hospitals, universities, roads, airports, and job
where are you gonna
markets.
go?
But
you
go
can't
to
go
the far
nowhere.
north, to cities like Arica, or travel south to Punta Arenas, and you'll see a different picture. These areas often struggle with fewer jobs, less investment, and slower infrastructure development.
They ain't
if we
got
talk
no
about
Wi-Fi.
trade, Chile's economy relies heavily on exports, with more than 30% of its GDP coming from exports. It's one of the top producers of copper, lithium, wine, salmon, and fruit.
Anything you got, we got anything you want, bro. Take it off our hands. We got some good Chile grapes. We got some Chile onions, broccoli. You feel what I'm saying? We get this shit off of us, bro. We got a little cocaine, you know what I'm saying? A little H. You need some poppy seeds. You feel what I'm saying, bro? We trying to get all of this off our land. We need all the money. I feel you,
Here's
Chile.
the problem. Moving goods in Chile is not simple. The long shape means transporting goods from mines or farms to ports can take days, adding to the cost and slowing down trade. Even though Chile has some of the most advanced ports in Latin America, like the port of Valparaiso and San Antonio, the country's extreme geography means exporters often face higher costs just to reach them. A company may need to combine road, rail, air, and sea transportation just to move a single product out of the country. This raises costs, delays shipments, and makes Chilean exports less competitive compared to countries with easier, flatter terrain. So while Chile is often praised as one of Latin America's most stable and successful economies, its geography constantly forces it to work harder and smarter just to stay competitive. But Chile isn't giving up. Instead, it's finding new ways to turn its geography from a challenge into a strength. Chile knows one thing for sure.
They got everything. They got Colorado.
It can't flatten the Andes.
They got Florida.
It can't shift the Pacific
California.
Ocean. And it can't suddenly make the country wider. So instead of fighting geography, Chile is doing something smarter. It is adapting. The government has invested in high-speed internet and satellite connectivity to improve communication across the country. By 2022, over 90% of Chileans had access to the internet and remote.
Shout out to y'all, bro. You feel what I'm saying? The internet life, you feel what I'm saying? Welcome to the USA. You ain't gotta come here, but you here. You feel what I'm saying? We here, baby. Shout out to the Chileans, however you say it. Cause y'all boys on that internet now probably tweaking. Yeah, looking at porn, all type of shit, bro. Oops. I rather rock.
That were once isolated are now part of a digital network. In remote areas, they're using drone deliveries, solar-powered microgrids, and small regional airports to stay connected. But Chile knows it can't do everything alone. That's why it's also working with its neighbors, especially Argentina. In some parts of the south, it's actually faster, easier, and cheaper to move goods through Argentina and then back into Chile than to ship them directly through Chilean territory. And in the far south, especially in Magallanes and Tierra del Fuego, Chile is investing in ferries, bridges, and tunnels to better connect isolated towns, though many of these projects take years to complete due to the challenging terrain. At the same time Chile is leaning into its strengths, it has built a reputation as one of the most stable and tech-savvy countries in Latin America. It's now a regional hub for startups, fintech companies, and green energy innovation. In 2023, Santiago was ranked among the top cities in Latin America for startup activity, thanks to government-backed incubators and investor-friendly policies.
I just know. My bad, let me go get in.
Also becoming a leader in renewable energy.
Goddamn solar power, they goddamn advancing, bro. They got land to just do shit.
With some of the world's most ambitious solar and wind farms, it's turning the natural limits of its geography into new industries, proving that a narrow, stretched-out country can still lead the way. So Chile's story is a reminder that geography is not just something you see on a map. It shapes politics, economy, culture, and even how people live day to day. And for
wouldn't have known that, bruh. Didn't even know where that motherfucker was. Didn't know nothing about it, but it is stretched out long like a ribbon. They try to make shit shake. Shout out to the Parallel Truth, man. Just a random video on my algorithm. It felt like reacting to it. I'm the Chill Life of Zoe. And till then, you know what I'm saying? That's the video. I see y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching.